we made the point yesterday that one of the novelties, or one of the major novelties of X-bar theory, is the recognition of an intermediate level between the maximal projection XP, or noun phrase, or verb phrase, something phrase of the phrase. So we have the phrase level, and then we have the word level. So noun phrase noun. This is becoming traditional because X-bar theory added something to this. It added the intermediate layer, which we refer to as n bar when we talked about the noun phrase. And we also made the point that an NP has an n bar before it has an n. We called it n0, which is the head. But we also made the point that this can apply also to the verb phrase, which has a v bar before it has a v0, which is the head. And we can say the same thing of the adjective phrase, the adverb phrase, and prepositional phrase, and everything. Everything that can be called phrase. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we will see later on that this applies not only to phrases, but also to what we traditionally refer to as a sentence, to clauses. You see? So even a simple sentence, which consists of one clause, has this shape of X bar, but we should not jump the gun in talking about it for the moment. Suffice it to tell you that this submits to the same rules, which shows the power of X bar theory as an analytical tool. In any case, the main point that you need to bear in mind before we start our discussion of the distinction between complements and adjuncts is that in X bar theory, we have XP, NP, for example, which we refer to as also as X double bar. So whenever you see double bar, it means it's a phrase. And this should, the XP may have a specifier, but to the right, you definitely need an X bar. So you cannot have a phrase without having a bar. That's true. That's true, Sumia. That's true. So you cannot have a phrase without having a bar. And of course, you cannot have a phrase without having a bar. And you cannot have a bar without having a zero. So NP, N bar, N0. Adjective phrase, adjective bar, adjective zero. So it goes like this. So to the right, and then a little to the left, down, of course, because we have a tree diagram. Is that fine? Nice. So if someone asks you this question, what is an N bar, for example? Just imagine on the day of the exam, you have a question like, what is an N bar? Or what is an adjective bar? Or what is an adverb bar? Your answer should be that an N bar consists of the N0 plus its complement. Okay? So an N bar is the noun, the head plus the complement of the head. Teacher of English is the N bar in the phrase, the teacher of English. So the teacher of English is the noun phrase. It's the N double bar, okay, which has a specifier, the, and then you have teacher of English, because teacher of English is one block. That's the intermediate constituent, because you have the head in it, teacher, and then the complement of teacher, teacher of English. So the combination of the head of the phrase plus its complement, both of them form a family. This family is called the bar family. Okay? The same thing goes for the adjective and its complement. Same thing goes for preposition and its complement, and so on and so forth. Now, we also made the point yesterday that that even if on occasions, sometimes, as I told you, we may have a noun phrase where there is no article. For example, you say, teaching is a good job. Love is blind. These are famous, sentences that come to the off the top of my head. But those words that do not take the definite article. We know that abstract nouns, for example, in English, like friendship. Let's say friendship. Friendship is a noble relation. So here, friendship is what? It's a noun phrase. How do we know that it's a noun phrase? Because we can replace friendship by it. Friendship is a noble relation. It is a noble relation, which means that it's a noun phrase. But do we have here a specifier? No, we don't. So we may sacrifice a specifier there. Do we have a complement for friendship? No, we don't. Should we sacrifice n bar? No, we shouldn't. Do you understand? So these three levels have to be visible in the tree diagram, even if you don't have a head and a complement. If you have just the head, you need to make provision for the complement by saying n bar. So if you have something like cat, yesterday it was the dog, today it's a cat. All right. So if you have cat like this, all right, so you have n double bar to represent cat. Okay, hello, Si Saeed. Hello, my dear friends. I'm sorry for Sarah, Bumah, and the ones I could not, whose comments I could not read. So here, cat is a noun phrase. Yes or no? How can I know? Okay. But then a cat, but cat alone cannot exist as we want something in a sentence. Let's refer to the abstract now. Friendship. Let's say friendship, because a cat needs to be determined. So let's say friendship like this. Friendship like this. Ahlan, thank you. Sorry, you're welcome anyway. So friendship here, can it exist in a sentence as it is? Yes, it can. Friendship is a noble. Friendship is what binds us here. Can I replace it by a pronoun? Yes, I can. It is what binds us here. So this one here is a noun phrase. Because it's a noun phrase, I can say n double bar. By the way, n double bar can also be written as n double prime like this. But this one is more famous, and it's explicitly saying that we have the bars here. So you don't need this. Okay, you may see it in some writings. Anyway, friendship here. Do I have a specifier for the word friendship? No, I don't. So do I have a complement? No, I don't. So even if I don't have when I don't have a specifier, I can sacrifice it. No problem. Specifiers are sacrificable. I mean, the position of the spec here. But can I sacrifice the bar level? No, my friends, you cannot. So friendship is a phrase. So you have it here, and then you have a bar level here automatically. And then you have an N0, which is the head. And of course, we have here friendship. Okay, look at how I wrote friendship, because there are types of friendship that are like this. And there are types of friendship that are like this. Okay, never mind. We will see that, Saeed. I'll come to this, inshallah. I'll come to this. When I talk about the difference between complements and adjuncts, I can come to that. Never mind. Let me just, go for, okay, let me clean this out. And now I would like to talk about the difference between a complement and an adjunct, of course. The difference between a complement and an adjunct can be captured in the following sentence, okay? So you have a book of history on that table. Okay, the book, it's better to say the book of history on that table. The book of history on that table. Can I say the book of history on that table is a phrase? Before answering me, try to see if you can put this in a sentence and replace this by a pronoun. The answer is yes, it is a phrase, because I can say the book of history on the table has or contains very rich information. Okay? Or involves or comes in 4 chapters. You see? Or it comes in 4 chapters. So this is a sentence. A phrase. What type of phrase is it? It's a noun phrase. How do we know? Because the most important element is book. And the rest are just working towards modifying book. Okay? So when I tell you, for example, that the book of history, book, and then you have of history here refers to the book, of course, and it's a complement of the book. You see, how do we know it's a complement? It's because when you say the book On the table, I can say which book are you talking about? Is it the book of geography, the book of history, etc.? So, book of history here is a complement for book, and there are tests that we are going to see in a moment that show that this is a complement. Complement means it comes after. Okay, what is a complement of something? A complement of a noun or a phrase or whatever it refers to the element that comes after the verb or after the verb or the noun or the adjective, etc. Yeah, it's not just a book, it's a book of history. Thank you so much. It's as though of history is part of what I'm talking about. You see? All right, good. But we will have tests here anyway. Now we have on the table, just from our previous knowledge of grammar 1, grammar 2, grammar 3, we know that on the table is, of course, the category is that it's a prepositional phrase, but it functions as an adverb of place, yes or no? It's an adverbial, yes or no? So it is an adverbial, okay? And of course, adverbials or adverbs, adverb phrases, adverbs are all called adjuncts. One way of memorizing this, I have a tip for you. Okay, I have a tip for you for free. Look at this, look at this. You have adverb. Why do we call it adverb? And then you have adjunct. Both of them, my friends, both of them have add at the beginning. So it's like they are something that is added. It's like added information. Add verb. Is it necessary? No. It just reveals more information about the thing. But if you delete it, there is no problem with that. You understand? It's different from a complement, like the complement of the verb. You cannot say, yesterday I invited. Well, tell us who did you invite, who you invited, okay? So here it's a complement. An adjunct, I invited him, for example, happily. Happily here is an adverb. So it just adds more information. So you have an adverb, okay, and adjective. Look, adjective هي فيها add. Look at this. You have this add in adjective, adjective. So just for you to know, adjectives, adverbs, they are added, are حتى هما adjuncts. That's how you can understand it. They are just added. Okay, nice. How do we know that this is a complement and this is an adjunct? It's very easy. One thing that we can do, my dear friends, there are two important tests that we can do. How many tests are there that we can do? You can say 2. Okay, very good. Okay, 2 tests. Test number one. Okay, thank you. Okay, what are they? Yeah, we are talking about that. The first argument, the first way of making a difference between a complement and an adjunct is to know that there is a rule saying that complements are always closer to the head than is the adjunct. I repeat, when you have 2 elements and you hesitate which one is the complement and which one is the adjunct, try to switch them and you will see if it works or not. So here I would say the book of history on the table is mine. That's perfect. Why? Because I have of history, which we said is a complement, so it's near the head. But this one here is far from the head. There is this between them. Now, can we switch? If I switch, we switch positions between of history and on that table, I will end up having something like the book on the table of history. Does it mean anything? It means that the table is a table of history. You get that or no? So the book of history we will no longer understand that we're talking about a book that talks about history. Do you get the point? So here, complements versus adjuncts can be detected if we swap positions. Why? So the one that works, if you swap, the one that works when you put it immediately after the head is a complement. The one that does not work is an adjunct. Look at this. The book of history on the table, perfect. The book on the table of history, oh, does not work. Fine. So this is test number one. You can jot it down, you can write it down. Complements are always closer to the head than adjuncts. Okay? Complements are closer to the head than adjuncts. You cannot say, let me give you another example. Okay? Okay, let me give you are closer to the head than adjuncts. Thank you, Sumia. Yeah, that's true. Look at this. Or let me just tell you orally. My English, I hope, is clear enough. Okay? Now, just imagine he drove his car in the city. He drove his car. You mean right? Adjunct. I don't understand you, Sarah. I don't understand really what you mean here, but I repeat the question in another way, please. Okay, so he drove his car in the city or along the street. Let's say along the street. He drove his car along the street or along the avenue or the street. Now, drove is the verb. His car is the complement of the verb. Through the street. So here we have a place. Yes or no? It's an adverb of place. Okay. Now, through the street here is an adjunct. Okay. We'll have past the street, or yeah, fine. But anyway, since this is an adjunct, he drove his car in Tangier, let's say, because through the street there might be an argument that I need to reason to make of it an adjunct. But let me give you a more straightforward. He drove his car in Tangier. In Tangier here is a pure adverb of place, yes or no? Can I say which is better, which is more likely to occur? Is it he drove his car in Tangier or he drove in Tangier his car? If you accept he drove in Tangier his car, then you are not really, aware of this grammar rule. So here we have two competitors. We have a complement, his car, and then we have the adjunct in Tangier. So it's more natural to say he drove his car, because complements are closer to the head than our adjuncts. Yes, okay. So along the street, it shows probably the where, yeah, but it's an adverb. Thank you. Yeah, that's a problem. But I just want to clear out any mist from. I wanted to simplify the example better. Thank you very much for this contribution. I just completed what I said in an. Oh, thank you, Sarah. All right. So here. What is the rule here? The rule is that when you have two elements and you are supposed to evaluate, on the day of the exam, for example, whether this prepositional phrase is a complement or an adjunct, the thing that you need to do is try to swap them. Swap them means switch them. If the one that does not work, when you place it after the head, is an adjunct. The one that works, when you place it after the head, it's a complement. Is that fine, my friends? So we cannot say the book or the student of linguistics over there. The student of linguistics over there is my friend. The student of linguistics. Of linguistics here, I'll give you another example. The student of linguistics here is what? It's the complement of student. Okay? Over there is the place where he is, so it's an adverb. Now, can I say the student over there of linguistics? And natural, which means that of linguistics is, in fact, the complement, and over there is an adjunct. Both of them are prepositional phrases, by the way. Yeah. Okay. Now, can I give you argument number two or test number two? There is test number two. Okay. Good. Now, let me just use the talk here. Test number two, just imagine we keep the same example. Now, can I say, Uthman is asking a question? I don't know, but wait. If you have a question, you type it, Uthman. But just, are you asking me to say the second rule? Let me say it on the spot. Now, just imagine we have this sentence here: the book of history on the table. What is the second argument for me to say, to be convinced that this is an adjunct and this is a complement? Because there is a second rule. Generally, adjuncts, my friends, adjuncts can be recursive. Recursive means they repeat. In other words, we can have more than one adjunct, two adjuncts, three adjuncts. And theoretically, we can have more. Do you see? But for complements, it's generally one. In some cases, but this is given another treatment in ex parte. We're not going to talk about that. Rarely ever do we have two complements, okay? But generally, it's just one. So the adjunct rule or the adjunct can be repeated. In other words, we can have more than one adjunct, but for complements, it's generally one. Here is an example. Let's try to add complements and adjuncts and see which one works. Can I say the book of history on the table in that classroom is mine? I repeat, the book of history on that table in that classroom and on that table in that classroom, how many adjuncts do you have? Two. And I can add more. I can add an adjective. Adjectives are also adjuncts. So I can say the white book of history on the table in that room. So I have white. I have on the table in that room. Three adjuncts. So here it works. So adjuncts can be multiple. Now, can complements be multiple? Let's try. The book of history of geography is mine. Is that possible? Can I say this? Can I say the teacher of English of history is my friend? No, of course we cannot. So here, that's argument number two for the distinction between complements and adjuncts. Is that clear, my dear friends? Say yes if it's clear. Say yes if it's clear. شوف ناتالي كتقول لي انا يس رشيد كيقول لي يس you know these things years ago. Okay, so let's talk about students. Sarah says no. Sumia is laughing. God knows why she's laughing. It's redundant. Okay. Sumia, you say no for what? And because you really need to, and you and Miriam, yes, you say yes, and Miriam should say yes too, because she's supposed, but these are clear things anyway. Thank you so much. Okay, now jot down this, please. Jot down this. I have a list of what can count as an adjunct. What can count as an adjunct? Okay. Can you see me, please? Oh, right, fine, because there was a blurring. What can count as an adjunct? Adverbs can be adjuncts. Adjectives can be adjuncts. Hadubaini, my friends, my dear friends, these are clear because both of them have this ad, so no problem. Wherever you have something that has ad, it cannot be a complement. You see, that's a good trick, isn't it? Whenever you have, we have adjective, it starts with ad, adverb starts with ad, so they are adjuncts. Adjective is an adjunct, Adverb is an adjunct, etc. So we have adjectives and adverbs are all adjuncts. تفقين. Okay, in the noun phrase, of course, we're talking about the noun phrase. Now, let's move on. So what can count also as an adjunct are some prepositional phrases, as you know. I talked to you about the prepositional phrase. Okay. Prepositional phrase, you know, some of them can be an adjunct, some of them can be a complement. Okay, perfect. And now when we have a prepositional phrase and we wonder which one is an adjunct, which is a complement, try to do the switching and try to multiply, and you will see if it works. If you multiply the prepositional phrase on the table in the room, for example, and you add another adjunct, it means that it's an adjunct. You add another prepositional phrase or another adjective to it, etc. It's an adjunct. Otherwise, it's going to be a complement. Uthman, the smart professor of English over there, in his NP, in this in this NP, the head takes a complement plus two adjuncts. Yes. Let's use this Mr. Uthman's excellent example here. We have an example from Uthman saying, the smart professor of English over there. How many adjuncts do we have in this sentence? We have two. We have smart because it's an adjective, so it's adjunct. Yeah. Professor of English, it's like book of history. So of English here is a complement. And then you have over there. Over there is an adverb of place, which means that it's an adjunct. So you are right, Sir Uthman. Yes, you are right. Thank you. La, Sarah. No. CP is not complement phrase. No. It's the complementizer phrase, but we will come to it maybe after 2 or 3 sessions. See, so we are coming to this complementizer phrase. But my condition is that I should have more people. 33 here. Oh, 33. 33. 33 ألف. That's بلاكة ديال أكادير ياك. So no, you should. You need to encourage people to come, and so that at least I have more audience to talk to. Anyway, let's just forget this. So thank you. So what you are saying is absolutely right. Having said this, do you happen to have any PDF worksheets on that and forward them so we can deeper? I wish I had something to give you. The only thing available that I have not seen for long, of course, is Radford's book, A Transformational Grammar. It explains things in a very nice way, of course. That's the thing. I don't have any handout, unfortunately. I don't use any PDFs. I use just this in my classes, unfortunately. So my apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Really, you see, I wish I could help in that regard. I would not shy away, or I would not hesitate a second to send you everything I have. And I like this culture of sharing, and I encourage you to share also with each other. Okay, are we done with this, my friends? Okay, so let's count again. Adjectives are adjuncts. Adverbs are adjuncts. You listen. Some prepositional phrases, I don't say all prepositional phrases, some of them can be an adjunct, some of them can be a complement. It depends on their position with regard to the head. So you can perform the 2 tests that I talked to you about with now. Okay, nice. Syntax, a generative, that's a very interesting thing, of course. Saeed, that's a very interesting book, but I think our friends are not falling short of books. They are probably looking for handouts, especially that I understand the situation, especially that they're, that the exam is drawing near. Mr. Uthman says the question, please, is which of the 2 adjuncts in this case we do? Yeah, I will come to this. I'll come to this. Sir Uthman, no worries. I can come and talk to you about these things, and that's going to be the second segment in today's meeting. First, adjuncts. What can count as an adjunct? What qualifies as an adjunct? So let's summarize. Adverbs, adjectives, because they have this ad prefix, so they are adjuncts. Some prepositional phrases, now you perform the two tests that I talked to you about, how close it is, which one can occur close to the head and which one cannot, and whether you, when you multiply, is it working or does not work? It's going to work or not. Okay, so here, this has to do with the prepositional phrases. But there are also, when you have a relative clauses, like when you have which, the book which you read is mine. So here, which you read, all of it, which you read is an adjunct. So relative clauses are adjuncts. Wherever there is a relative clause that you need to represent in a CP, we will see, غنشوفوا الCP إن شاء الله after, don't worry. So غادي نصحح هذا الخطأ البسيط. It's CP, c'est pas complement phrase. It's complementizer phrase, which we are going to see later. Of course, if you invite people to come, and I just need to have enough people. I'm not looking for, because I'm not looking for gathering money from this, to tell you the truth, but to have enough audience to talk to. Okay, nice. Very interesting. So when you have a relative clause, if you have anything, for example, you have the man who you invited yesterday is my friend. Who you invited yesterday is a relative clause, yes or no, and therefore it's an adjunct. Okay, the cat, we have Sumia with us here. Okay, a fan of cats. So you see, you have the cat which you have fed belongs to my neighbor. The cat which you have fed, here in relation to the cat, it's an adjunct also. Why? It's because it's a relative clause. So relative clauses are adjuncts, my dear friends. Nice. Okay. Sometimes you have participial phrases, and I think this sends me to something that Said mentioned about when you have participial phrases. You know what participial phrases? Participial phrases are phrases where you have a verb either in the ing or in the past participle. So in the ing or in the past participle without the auxiliary. So let me tell you that when you have she is writing, where is the verb here? The verb is not writing, the verb is writing. Okay, so it's the ing plus the auxiliary. So the ing is a verb only when it works with, it exists next to an auxiliary. Okay, very nice. Aisha, I'm coming to these things. Never mind. You understand, my friends. We have these participial phrases. For example, the man. Okay, I have been using the man. So the woman this time. Okay, the woman standing there is my professor. The woman standing there is my professor. Okay, where is the verb? Is it standing? No, hasha. Standing is not a verb. Standing is just a participial. Why? Because you have stand ing plus ing, which is standing, but you don't have is or was or I don't know. You don't have an auxiliary there. You got the point or no? Okay. The letter received came from a very nice friend. The email, letter بقات شي letter دابا. صراحة كان العالم ديال letters. Okay, the email or the SMS or whatever, the message received came from a very respectful friend. The message received here, is it a verb? No, it's not a verb. You cannot tell me that this is a verb in the simple past. No. Because, the man received, yes, it's a verb in the simple past, but the message received, the message is not received. So it's actually the message which was received. We call this a reduced clause, and I can have a live session of this if you wish. That's not for syntax, but for language knowledge in general. See, it's a reduced clause. Okay, so here we are talking about participial phrases, especially the one with ing or with the past participle. When these exist without any auxiliary, then of course they are not verbs. And whenever you see them, make sure they are adjuncts, they are not complements. When I say the man standing there is my friend, The man standing there is my friend. Standing there is an adjunct, is not a complement. Okay, good. So let's move on, please. But you can also have, so we talked about participial phrases, positive phrases. Okay, I think this is it for the types of adjuncts that we can have. Let's now move on to the most exciting part of all. It's how to represent these on the tree diagram. I think somebody asked me, okay, you might be wondering how we can represent this on a tree diagram. Let's see what you can do with this. Just imagine we have أهلا أستاذة سامية أهلا وسهلا مرحبا. Okay, so you have the nice teacher هكذا لا خلينا نبداو بالاسهل نبداو بداك الشيء اللي okay. Let's say the book of history on the table. The book of history on the table. Okay, so let me write it. The book of history on the table. Can I say something? Can I give you a piece of advice? Can I give you a golden piece of advice? Okay. Please, on the day of the exam, do not read the sentence and rush into, okay, representing the diagram. You see, it's very easy. So the easiest thing is to write something like this. Okay, but what is bad is when you reach this point and you decide that you have made a mistake. So mistakes are not allowed here. Not allowed, and it's easy to avoid these mistakes. So what you can do is first and foremost, read first the sentence carefully and decide on what major elements you have. For example, there are students over the years I have been teaching syntax. You give them an NP and they start writing the CP. They think that it's a sentence. Don't do that, please. You have to determine what you have here. Have some draft, Yeah, the same example as yours, Mr. Uthman. Which example? Paste it, please. Paste it to use the example. L'exemple ديالك كنت غنديرو ولكن نخليه il faut qu'on soit pédagogique. نتعلموا هذه القضية. تعلموا my friends. الناس اللي غيمشيو للتيتشين إن شاء الله. It's easy to confuse. It's easy. Life is complicated. It's easy to complicate things to people. أنا في أيام يكتب داك الشيء كاين اون فراز بوكو بلو كومبليكي ولكن فضلت نبدا بهذا الشيء اللي سهل حيت الا تفهم هذا الشيء اللي سهل غتفهم حاجه اللي صعيبه. بديتي بحاجه صعيبه راه صافي غتبروكا. يا سي مصطفى يس فيري جود اوكي لايف از اوريدي كومبليكيتد. اوكي تبعوني عافاكم تبعوني. So I have this, the book of history on the table. Is it a phrase or it's what? It's a phrase. It's a noun phrase. كيفاش غنعرف أنا noun phrase? Because I can put it in a sentence and I can replace it by a pronoun. The book of history on the table is mine or it is mine. Automatically, this is هي عندنا phrase. Do I have a determiner? We have a determiner. Where is the head? The head is this. Do I have a complement? Let me see. Of history. And then I have another preposition phrase on the table. Which one is complement? Which one is an adjunct? Professor Ambrose told us that the one that comes immediately after the head is the complement. Let me see if this can also be a complement. Switch. The book on the table of history. لا ما جاتش. So of history is not a complement because when you put it here, it does not work. So this is an adjunct. This is a complement. Is that okay, my friends? Is that okay or not? Say yes. Very good. Natalie says yes. Natalie عارفة هذا الشيء وعارفة داك الشيء اللي جا مورا هذا الشيء. She knows everything and she says yes. تتواضع. Okay. Thank you everyone. Okay. Nice. Now you listen to me. You listen to me while I say something to you. When we draw a tree diagram and we reach a point where we have to represent an adjunct. بحال دابا هنايا جينا on the table لقيناها adjunct. I don't know, to our dismay or to, I don't know, to our happiness, I don't know. We want to represent this. Okay? You follow me. Follow me. When you want to represent this, كيفاش غادي نعرفوا, how can we know that something like on the table is an adjunct? واخا أميمة, I'm talking about this. How can we know that a structure like on the table is an adjunct just by looking at it in the tree diagram? Answer, this is very important. And the people who will understand this will understand half of the syntax. Okay, just follow me. When you want to represent an adjunct, qu'est-ce qu'on fait? We take the n bar. We take the n bar. Yes or no? And we make a copy of it. Copy. So this is the original n bar, the one we saw yesterday. Okay, n bar n0. And because this is an n bar, it has a complement here. والadjunct كيبقى هنايا. Do you understand? So let's do it. Let's do it again. Let's do it. Please think about it this way. Think about it this way. Whenever you are at a point where you need to represent an adjunct, whatever you have there, verb phrase or noun phrase, adjective phrase, create a copy and then جبدوا منها الadjunct. Do you understand or no? Let's try it here. Let's try it here. The book of history on the table. Okay, so I have n double bar. I have a determiner like this. It's the. Okay, I come here. دائما عافاكم هذه نصيحة أخرى. فاش غنجبدو من دبل بار خصنا نحبسو نقولوا فينا واش عندي adjunct ولا ما عنديش. Do I have an adjunct here? Do I have an adjunct here of history? I have an adjunct here. اللي هو on the table. Yes or no? So you follow me. I create a copy for it. I'll come back to it later. دابا غنتفاهم مع هادشي. Okay? So I have my original n bar. It means the head and its complement. ها هما. هذه منين جبناها؟ هذيك بحال إلا صورنا درنا ليها فوتوكوبي. اوكي علاش؟ باش نجبدوا منها الادجunct. الادجunct كيتجبدوا من الفوتوكوبيز. You understand or no? دونك عندي بحال هاد جوج متشابهان n bar v bar etc. هذيك الفوقانيه لا كوبي كنجبدوا منها الادجunct. اوكي واخا سي ابراهيم ما غاديش نقرا الميساج ديالك دابا باش ما I'll come back to it please. if الى طلع الميساج عاودوا paste it. Okay, do you understand or no? So in this case I have n bar. لا درت n double bar جبت وقفت قلت ودي عندي هنايا adjunct عندي complement. دونك الادجunct هو هذا كنجبدوه هكا غادي نرجع ليه. So I call it p double bar and then I have a complement here. Complement here has what? It has an n0 which is book. And then it has a prepositional phrase of history. P double bar. You understand or no? So this P double bar is the complement because it occurs near the head. It's a sister node of the head. But this is an adjunct because it comes from a copy of the original n bar. Okay, so here I come to represent of history. P bar, I have P double bar, so automatically I have to have a P bar. I have to have a P0. I have to have of. ما عنديش space هنا, but it's fine. Of, هذه of. So P double bar, P bar, P0. This one, well, no, not yet. So I have to have history here. History of is what? It's an NP. So here, it's an NP. It means it's N double bar. ما كتبتهاش كبيرة باقية ما واضحاش. So this one is an N double bar here. Do I have a determiner? No. Do I have an adjunct to this N? Just to this? No. It's a single word. But this does not prevent me from using the bar level. So here you have N bar, N0, history. And then I come to do the same thing here. So I have a prepositional phrase. So I have a P bar, I have a P0, which is on, and then I have N double bar, where you have the table. ما عنديش لي سباس داكشي علاش درت هذا التريانجل هذا. Is that fine, my friends, or not? Okay, someone is confused. Sarah is confused. Sarah, very quickly, very good. It's clear. Thank you. You got it. Thank you. Sarah, Natalie says yes. العجب ناتالي ومصطفى مرشد وبوكنيفي when they say yes صافي. and أستاذة غندي تا هي معنا. أنا عارف بلي you know, but it's fine. I think it's because you respect me. Thank you very much. Anyway, thank you. Okay, good. So just to repeat this idea to Sarah because she says she is confused. When we have an adjunct and we want to put it in a tree diagram, the adjunct needs to be wrapped in a copy of the bar. You see, copy of the bar. You have the N bar here, N bar, this is the original. We write another N bar, it means we make a copy of it so that we can have an adjunct. So automatically, just by looking at this, because it's associated with the copy of the N bar, how do I know it's a copy? Because there is this original here. All right, so Hadoop copies, this is a copy, this is not a copy, this is a copy. So this is the adjunct, this is the complement. This P double bar and this P double bar are different. Why? Because this P double bar is linked to the original noun for the N bar. This is the original. The lower is the more original. Okay? And this one here is this one here, this P double bar, بجوج بهم P double bar. غير هي هذه adjunct عرفناها حيت هذه copy. هذه complement حيت عرفناها حيت it's a sister node of N0 and it comes from the original N bar. Thank you. دابا نمشيو لافراز ديال سي عثمان. سي عثمان, paste your sentence please while I clean the board. Mr. Uthman, place this please. Paste the sentence. Uthman, paste the sentence. Mr. Uthman, paste the sentence. Uthman does not hear. I think the smart teacher over there, I think. Was Ibrahim asked me. Ibrahim asked me something. The smart professor over there. Yes. Okay. See, Ibrahim says something here. Ibrahim, yes. Hello, dear professor. I have a question concerning the coordination in syntax. If we have a given phrase that we do not know whether we have two adjuncts or two complements, how can we distinguish between them? If we have a given phrase that we don't know whether we have two adjuncts or two complements, or one complement or one adjunct, I think I told you about the two tests that you can perform. If it's a complement, if you have an element that of a given category that you can repeat, it means that it's an adjunct. If you can't repeat it, it's a complement. Try also bringing these next to the head and see the ones that work are complements. The ones that do not work are adjuncts when you do the swapping. Okay, nice. See, Uthman asked us the question: the smart professor over there, or the smart English professor? Yes. Okay. My friends, because I am pedagogical, or at least I assume I try to be pedagogical, the smart professor of English over there. هذه قبل من English professor. It's better for me so that this is not going to confuse, okay? The smart professor of English over there. Let's write it here. The smart professor of English over there. This شوفوا كي كتبتها ما كاين والو كنزرب. But never mind. The smart professor of English over there. The smart professor of English over there. All right. Abdul Hakim, inshallah, I can do that. Because as we move, we will talk about specifiers. إلا بقيتو كتجيو أنا غنبقى ندير لكم لايف سيشنز في سبيل الله، ما عندي حتى شي مشكل. إلا لقيت غير 3-4 الناس no interaction غادي ندير space because I have other things to do. I have a lot of things to do. Okay, never mind. Okay, so let's read this sentence together, my friends. Yes, the smart professor of English over there. ما عرف واش نعاود نكتبها. الله ينعس الشيطان نعاود نكتبها. Okay, the smart professor of English over there. Professor of English over there. Look, the باينة ياك smart professor of English over there. I think it's clearer now. I hope so. It's anyway, the sentence is the smart professor of English over there. If only I can. Okay, so what's this? Is it a sentence? Thank you, Nohaila. Thank you. Okay, the smart professor of English over there. Okay, it's what? It's a phrase. How do I know it's a phrase? What type of phrase is it? It's a noun phrase. How do I know it's a noun phrase? Because I can say the smart professor of English over there is my brother's best friend. You see? So here, and I can replace this, he is my brother's best friend. So this is an NP. Okay? So, haya. N double bar, haya. Do I have a specifier? Yes, I do. Determiner, specifier, call it determiner. Yalla. Det or spec, it's the same. The. Okay. يلا باش تجي 3 diagrams زوينة. Determiner. Now I should stop. Why should I stop? Because I have to see. So I have the, and then I have smart. Smart is what? Smart is what? It's an adjective. An adjective, we said automatically in a noun phrase when you have an adjective, it's adjunct. Very good. عندي adjunct هنايا. اسمعوا شوفوا ايش غندير. Look at what I will do in the tree diagram. So I have an adjunct which is smart. Okay? So this is its copy. هي. Okay? This is for smart. I know it's an adjunct. ها الكوبي ديال هذاك اللي غنكتب هنا. Okay? Good. غنجبد عاوتاني. Do I have another adjunct? عندي شي adjunct اخرى هنا ولا ما عنديش؟ I have a professor of English. It's the complement of professor. It's like book of history, a professor of English. But I have over there. Over there is an adverb of place. So it's an adjunct, isn't it? Okay, so I have to make another copy. So I have to make another copy for over there. and then I come to my original n bar. So I have one n bar to the left, because this is before the head, to the left, and I have another adjunct to the right. وبينهما هذه ال n bar الأصلية. This is the original n bar. I think I should repeat this process very slowly so that you can understand it very well. If you follow this algorithm, things will be very easy. Okay, let me repeat. Okay, now I have a sentence like this one here. I have a determiner, no problem. Professor is the head, it's the N0. It will be somewhere here. The word will be somewhere here. Now, do I have a complement, an adjunct that خصني نشوفه قبل ما نبدا في tree diagram. Okay, so I have of English here. Of English is a complement of professor. كيفاش غادي نعرف؟ لأن ما نقدرش نقول the smart professor over there of English. ما جاتش. So of English is the complement. Over there is the adjunct. So I have adjunct, complement, adjunct. How many adjuncts do I have? 2. How many copies should I make? 2. If I have 700, okay, and 33 adjuncts in a sentence, how many copies do I need to have? 733. We need to have as many copies as there are adjuncts. So fair? As many copies as there are adjuncts. It means if you have 15 adjuncts, I need 15 copies plus the original copy. Okay? Good. So the original copy محسوبة ما سميتهاش copy, so the original. Yeah, okay. So كاينة 733 plus the original one, that makes 734. And we had 2 copies, you are right. So I reach this point here. So I have double bar, كنهبط, and then I stop. I look to the left, I look to the right to see if there are any adjuncts. I read the smart. هي لقيت smart هنايا. Smart, is it an adjunct? Yes. هذا الكوبي ديالها. الله يعاون. Et je continue. كنحبس أنا عاوتاني. عندي شي adjunct آخر هنايا. Yes, I do. Where is it? It's over there. ها هي. Okay, over there. دابا فين غنمشي للأوريجينال. طق Professor of English. اللي هي the original n bar. Problem solved here. شنو بقى لي؟ بقى لي غير نعمر. So I have here smart. Smart is what? It's an adjective phrase. Yes or no? I'm sorry. So here, adjective phrase, adjective double bar because I have smart. And then adjective bar. شوف adjective bar. شوف لأن أي حاجة فيها phrase هي double bar. Anything that is a double bar, it means there is a bar after. Okay? So adjective bar, and the head is smart, adjective 0. So I have adjective 0, and then I have to write smart. Smart, ما عرفوش بانت لكم المهم هذه smart. Okay? Good. غادي نمشي over there. Over there is what? Over is a prepositional phrase. Over there. So let's call it a prepositional phrase, P double bar, with the preposition over and the complement there. Okay. So do I have a specifier for this P double bar? No. So I have to go to P bar automatically. And then over, which is P0, over. And there, of course, is a demonstrative, but we can also call it an adverb phrase. It's an ADV double bar, ADV bar, ADV0, and then you have there. شنو بقى لي هنايا؟ بقات لي professor of English. So I have N0, it's the head, professor, prof. And then I have of English here, prepositional, الدق isn't الله يعاون. ماذا وديني تسي السي عثمان. Okay, so and then you have of English. English here is an N double bar. هي هذه English N double bar N bar N zero, and then you have English. شفتوا كي جات tree diagram. I have a question. Bilal says, Professor, as for the adverbial over there, if you draw an adjunct from the N bar, it would be functioning as an adjective rather than adverb. No, no. Look. Regardless of the category, an adjunct is not sensitive to whether you have an adverb or an adjective. You see? So here, over there, this one here is a prepositional phrase because you have over here. Over is a preposition. So over there is a prepositional phrase with this as a complement. So all of this functions as an adjunct. How do we know it's because this is a copy? How do we know it's a copy? Because we have the original here. And smart is also an adjunct because we have a copy here. How do you know it's a copy? It's because they have the original here. So you say, as for the adverbial PP over there, if you draw an adjunct from the N bar, it would be function as an adjective rather than an adverb. No. It will not be function as an adjective or an adverb. It's neither. You see, from X bar, regardless of the category, it's an adjunct. صافي. هادشي اللي كيهم. هذا adjunct ولا ماشي adjunct؟ adjunct. هذه adjunct ولا ماشي adjunct؟ adjunct. Okay. سكينة؟ No, I'm sorry. Prof. Yeah, thank you. بلاتي. Wait a minute, I made a mistake. اسمحوا لي. هنايا غير نسيت take off. Thank you so much سكينة. Sorry. So ماشي no need. لا ماشي no need. كل شيء خصو يتبريزونتي. Look. So هنا حيت عندي of English. عندها الحق. Of English is a prepositional phrase. Yeah, thank you. So I have to have a P double bar here, and then a P bar, and then a P zero of. صحيح. وعاد غادي نشوف ال N double bar هنايا. N bar, you know the story. Teacher ولا professor هنايا. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. واش هادشي واضح ولا لا؟ If it's clear, type 1 باش نمشيو حوايج اخرين. يلا. I need ones there. زيد. Nathalie Leblanc زعما she is discovering this for the first time. عبد السلام clear. Duja, oh, that's good. Oh, that's really nice. Nice, Abu Mustafa Borshi, that you understand this. Okay, Sumia has written 3 ones. Now let me change this. Thank you, Sukaina. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Bilal. Thank you. Okay. Look. The lengthy, informative, book on the desk. On the desk. We have a book which is lengthy and informative, and it's on the desk. What's this first? Is it an NP, VP, whatever? So this is a noun phrase. Why? Because you can say the lengthy, informative book on the desk belongs to me, or it belongs to me. So it's an NP. No discussion here. Now, do I have a complement here or no? Lengthy, informative, عندي book هنايا, and I have on the desk. No, there is no complement. حيت ما عنديش book of history, for example. So no complement. هذه وحدة. Very good, very good. Do I have any adjunct here? نشوفوا. That's a specifier. Lengthy is an adjective, yes or no? Very good. And informative is also an adjective, هجوج, two adjectives. And then I have on the desk, three. So I have lengthy, informative, and then I have on the desk. How many adjuncts do I have? I have three. Okay. Now, how many copies of the n bar do I need? I need three. Why? Because we need to have as many copies as there are adjuncts. Okay. So as I draw my tree diagram, I will read to see if the adjunct occurs here or occurs here. Okay. Before or after. Fine. Let's try it. Let's try it, my friends. The lengthy informative book. So here I have a double bar. واضحة? Yeah, very good. Three adjuncts. Do I have a specifier? Yes, let's call it det, determiner, because you have the. And then I draw. And then I stop. I have my arms crossed like this, and then ask the question, do you have an adjunct or an adjunct? كاين شي adjunct ولا ما كاينش؟ كاين ها هو adjunct. Lengthy is an adjunct. Lengthy is an adjunct. ها الكوبي ديالو. Very good. Move on. Informative. Is it an adjunct? Yeah, it's an adjective. Yes. So it's an adjunct. Yes. So ها الكوبي ديالو ها هو عاوتاني. So هذه من هنا، هذه من هنا. Et je continue. Fine. Do I have another adjunct? Yes, it's on the desk. So this is it for on the desk. شتو بالعربية تعرف كنخرجوا الادجنكت باش يبقى لنا لي سباس. هذه الاوريجينال. دابا هادو كاملين ديال الادجنكت. هذه ديال لانثي. This one is for informative and this one is on the book. بقى ليا book هنايا. Book is at the original n bar. ها هي. ما هادو كاملين ce sont des copies. علاش؟ because we have three adjuncts, we have three copies. واحد جوج ثلاثة plus the original. This is the original. This is copy 1, copy 2, copy 3. Copy 1, copy 2, copy 3. Fine? So this is for lengthy, this is for informative, and this is for on the desk. And this is for book. اللي ما فيش والو. شنو ما فيش؟ ما فيش كومبليمون. دونك ولكن واش ندير ان بار؟ بيان سور زعما ها هو ها ان بار كاين. Interesting. يلا let's try. So lengthy is what? It's an adjective double bar, and then you have adjective bar, and then you have adjective zero, my friend. And then you have lengthy. صافي. Informative la même chose. Adjective double bar, adjective bar, adjective zero, ها الهيد, and then it's informative. Okay, informative. Okay, now what do I have here? I have book. Do I have a complement? No, so I write down N0 اللي هي book. ما فيش complement هنا، ماشي بحال of history or something. So I write just an N bar here. All right. دابا عندي هذه. On the desk. On the desk is a prepositional phrase. So on the desk is a P double bar because I have on. I don't have a specifier, so I go directly to P bar and then P0, which is the head, اللي هي on. And then the desk is a noun phrase, yes or no? The desk is an N double bar. So I have a determiner, the. And then, because I have double bar here, عندي شي adjunct for the desk, no. لو كان عندي the beautiful desk, غندير له copy. ما عنديش. So I have to come directly to the N bar, N0, desk. Is that fine? كي جاكم هاد الشيء؟ ياك مش هيكون والو. اوكي اوكي اوكي. شوف Natalie says wonderful, Mustafa says ما شاء الله. What's that? You know this, you can teach me a lot about syntax and about okay. Dujan says zin. Zin means it's nice. Okay, do we have other friends with feedback? ياك ما عجبكمش هذا الشيء، ما كاينش الفيدباك ولا issues ديال connection. But tell me please whether you find this interesting enough, whether you have benefited from this or not. I need to know via, okay, stacked adjectives. Yeah, stacked adjectives, yes. But I think you need to answer my question whether you understand. I understand, Duja says. Tafi, these are the only ones who understand? Or is it an issue of connection? This is the best explanation. That's very interesting to know. Thank you, Nana. Thank you. Okay. Who else here has something to say about this explanation? Okay. شتو كنعطيكم هاد